Welcome back to another masterclass with 7 Ways to Wealth. I'm super excited to introduce our guest speaker. Her name is Coach Vero, and she helps entrepreneurs increase conversion rates and their income by building, designing, and optimizing their Shopify stores. So she's been working with Shopify for a long time. I think she said since 2016. She's an absolute expert, and she's going to teach us a thing or two today about Shopify. So I'm super excited to introduce Vero. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Vero. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you. I'd like to share my win for the week was I finally locked down a VA so she can keep my calendar life together, because like even with all the automations and stuff, I needed some human help. Like I need heads up.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Adding people to the team, that's always a plus.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So let me share my screen. I have a couple of gems that I want to share in regards to Shopify. So again, thank you so much for having me. I actually love to talk about Shopify, so I hope you guys have as much fun as I am. So I'm going to just share some cool stuff and also share some key concepts that I created to help you maybe understand what is needed when you're building a Shopify store. So let's start with some data. Let's talk about some numbers. I was doing some research, and actually let me pull out my chat box so I can share with you guys some links. I ran into some articles when I was updating my numbers, and there was a blog in TDO.com that stated that 70% of Americans are shopping online, and I'll share that link there so you guys can look into that. And they also said that in 2022 alone, there were a total of 268 million digital buyers in the US, and that by 2025 it was going to increase likely to 285 million. So there's a lot of potential in the whole e-commerce world. And just to share another fun fact, mobile commerce volume is now expected to hit 620.97 billion by 2024. And that's basically almost, it sounds like half of the market, right? The e-commerce purchases are being done through your phone. So think about that, guys. There's so much momentum happening, and this is the way that we're going, right? This is the future. So I did want to share a list of Shopify tools that I ran into, and they're really cool tools. So I'm going to share the links in the bio, in the chat, sorry. And Shopify has a business name generator that you can use. It's a tool that you can use to help you generate your business. Shopify logo generator, if you don't want to deal with Canva, it's probably the same thing, but they have something. Slogan maker, that one's really fun. Domain name generator, QR code generator. And one thing that folks don't really know is they also offer funding. So there's also Capital, Shopify Capital. So those are some really cool fun facts that I thought were like, oh wow, those are some good gems to share in regards to what's happening with e-commerce world and just kind of what Shopify has to offer. So now I want to cover some basic concepts that I came up with to help you when you're building, designing, and optimizing your Shopify store. So first I want to go over what I call the base method. And the base method is a concept that I came up with to help me remember all the elements that are necessary in order to complete a fully functioning Shopify store. So when I say base, it's an acronym, and that acronym stands for brand, aesthetics, settings, sales channels, and apps. Okay, so I'm going to break it down one by one. And by brand, what I mean by brand is your products, your services, and your collections. So in Shopify, it's not only to sell actual physical products. You can sell digital products. You can do drop shipping. You can offer your services. I host my course through Shopify. So there's so many things you can do through Shopify, but you want to also make sure that you incorporate the collections with that and organize your store. I highly recommend when you first start working on your Shopify store that you actually first start organizing your products and under their collections to make it easier for you when you're in the designing phase of building your Shopify store. The A in base stands for aesthetics. And let's just keep it real. Looks do matter on a website. It's 2023, right? So the way that your website looks, it's going to probably drive your traffic or scare it away, right? So you want to make sure that you have a professional looking website, and you're using your visuals and you're using lifestyle images maybe. So you want to make sure you incorporate everything that's necessary. And I'll go more into the designing part when I go over another concept. The first S in base is for settings. And settings is something that I feel like it's always estimated. There's a lot of different settings that you want to make sure you go into to customize for your store. So that way it gives your visitors and your customers a full experience of your brand. So adding your logo in the checkout notifications or the checkout page, for example, just different details that will just have your brand experience go all the way from A through Z when your visitors are converting to customers. The second S in base is sales channels and apps. And I love apps in Shopify. So first I'll cover sales channels. Those are basically just platforms that allow you to expand your market. So we have like the Facebook, Instagram app. You have the Google sales channel app. TikTok is a new one. They have eBay, Amazon. There's tons of sales channels that allow you to kind of link and integrate and showcase your products on their platforms. Then you have apps, and apps help you optimize your store and with the functionality of the store. So you can have your store do something completely different than someone else's. For example, you can book your consultation through my Shopify store, as well as add something to cart. So each element or component of my website has a different functionality, and you can customize your store to do the same. Another concept that I came up with that helps me with designing the Shopify store is the designing C's. And when I'm talking about the designing C's, what I mean is the colors, the content, the copy, and the call to action. So you want to make sure your colors are always aligned with your brand, right? And you want to think about your background colors, accent colors, text colors, right? And how can I work this to have a professional looking website? So you don't want to probably do too many bold colors, right? You want to have something that's easy on the eyes, but then maybe throw an accent color like the buttons and whatnot to help it pop or blend in with your brand colors. For content, you want to think about your photos, your banners, right? Your visuals. So you can use Canva to create your banners. And if you don't have like a photo shoot, for example, if you're doing apparel, for example, you can use mock-ups probably to help you design some like lifestyle looking images. Placeit.net, I think it is, does some cool mock-ups. But if it's not apparel, then you can use more like lifestyle images. So for example, I was selling cream, And I would just have like images of like women and men, like, doing their skincare routine and things like that as like images for my Shopify store. So there's different ways to play around with it. You can get creative, but you just want to make sure you have some visuals, not just like the products, right? You want to make sure you have a banner, some images with text, and just have it flow through so that you're telling a story on your website. Which brings me to copy. So you want to make sure you have some copy, which is the written material that's on your website. You want to make sure you have some with keywords that have to do with what you're selling, right? So there are tools like Jasper AI, Copy AI, or that new Chat GPT or something like that help you actually create copy. I love using AI help. Like, I love it. Like, I'm all over it. I'm actually offering more services to my retainer clients because of it. So I definitely you maximize those tools, but you can use those to help you come up with the copy for your website. You don't have to hire a copywriter, but you can use, you still need to go over the grammar. It's still AI, right? So you need to make sure you go over and read it and fix anything that may be a little off, but it works wonders. The last C is call to action, and you want to make sure you give your visitors something to do. So otherwise, like, they're probably not going to do anything, right? So we're talking about the shop nows, the learn more, the view more, the read now, right? So you want to give them something to do, right? So it's something that's very important when you're designing your Shopify store, for example, for mobile. If I can give you guys something now, I would say is always have a call to action that's above the fold. So when you have your cell phone and you log onto a website, whatever you can see on that first, on the size of your screen, of your image, you want to make sure there's some sort of call to action button visible to someone when they first log into your website on the phone, right? So you want to just make sure you either put the button on the banner or right under it. And those are probably the best places to have it. Okay. Always think of your mobile as well as your desktop design. And the next concept that I came up with is to help me with making sure that I install the correct apps to my Shopify store. And this is the FAME system. And FAME stands for functionality, automation, marketing, and engagement. So for apps that bring you functionality, these are going to be the apps that help your store function a certain way outside of the features that Shopify already offers. So you can have your add to cart button changed to like a request a quote and have an app help you have your visitors request a quote from you versus adding a product to checkout. Or if you wanted to have the pre-order feature, there's apps to help you have that pre-order feature. They'll change that add to cart button to a pre-order button, for example. Or I have my appointment app through my Shopify store, for example, and you're able to, instead of adding a product to the cart, is schedule an appointment with me. So there's different apps for different functionalities. Like I mentioned earlier, I host my course through Shopify too, and that's through an app as well. So my motto with apps is, if you can think about an idea, if you can think about it, there's probably an app for that, right? So always go in the app store and search to see like keywords like scheduling, calendar, or I need something that notifies a specific product. Just do those key type of searches and the apps will pop up with according to like their ranking and their rating. Was there a question? I was going to take questions right after. I'm almost done with my presentation. The A is for automation. And these are for the apps that help you automate your processes in your Shopify store. So for example, sending out specific notifications, or once you're collecting an email that shoots out an automatic response to them. So just different types of apps that help you do your like welcome series, your abandoned carts. Shopify has gotten they've gotten a little better in doing with their in-house features that do automations and email welcome series and stuff like that. So you can also play with the ones that are within Shopify as well. But you also want to keep in mind is what app do I have doing what, and not having two apps doing the same thing, because that might confuse the visitor, and then you just don't even build the trust and they leave your store. So it takes time for them to become aware of your brand, but then they also have to build the trust to be able to shop from your store if they don't already know your brand, right? So be careful with what app you assign to do what, and make sure they're not like overlapping. Then we have the M for marketing apps. So these are the apps that are going to help you send out your email blast or your text blast, right? There's the ones that help you push out like the browser notifications. So there's, different tactics or, ways you can advertise and market. These are going to be the apps that do this. And lastly, E for engagement. And these are going to be the apps that help engage with the visitors to build trust and also convert them to visitors. So you have, like, for example, the Wheelios, the pop-up types of apps that collect their emails, names, or phone numbers, but then it also gives them a discount. So it gives them that incentive to, for example, buy something from your store. So these are going to be apps that are doing more of the engagement with your visitors. And again, you want to make sure you're not overlapping with having an app that collects an email, but then have like a wheel that pops up. You want to make sure you just have one or the other. And that is, I went through these pretty fast. That is the end of my presentation. If you guys have any questions, I'm here for it.
Thank you so much, Vero. I really, really, really appreciate it. I actually have a question. Do you mind showing us like an example of like a Shopify store, like what it looks like, or like what like the back end
Sure.
of it like? Because I know that there's a couple of people who are like interested in drop shipping and using Shopify. I know Shopify is like major when it comes to drop shipping.
Let me pull out one of my demo accounts.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So this is what the dashboard looks like when you're in your Shopify dashboard. This is actually for a store that's still in demo. So this is not a live store, but you can track your orders. You can track your products, right? And then, so this is like let me just show you guys what it looks like, but I built this store for fun. And it's a drop shipping, also using drop shipping, and it's for like pet niche for like a dog. And I built, especially before I had more time, I built sites for fun. So now I use this as a demo, but this is what it looks like as like the design, the outside. So I use banners, I use images with collages, and just kind of adding some personality, right, to the website. So that's what it looks like on the outside. This is all drop shipping as well. So using Printful, I created different mock-ups. So you can keep track of all your products, and then I have them organized under collections. What's really cool is you can also keep track of all your customers. So unlike Etsy, you don't really get the data to be able to retarget people and say, hey, now I'm having this kind of promotion, here's a discount. Like you're not really able to do that much of a specific retargeting on Etsy the way that you have all your information with Shopify. They do have a like an account banking system too, technically, where you can directly have the payouts go to your Shopify account and they send you like a debit card and everything. Along with that capital that they do. So they do have funding opportunities as well. It's really cool. Another cool part is your analytics. You'll be able to see what's going on, like your the links that are, for example, being bringing you traffic, right? So it's really cool. It's really cool, like all the things that you can see in-house. And I'm just pulling up the chat. I see a question. Can you please explain drop shipping? So the cool thing with drop shipping is you don't have to worry about your packaging, your labeling, right? And all that time that it really takes when you're putting together a product to be sent out. The cons to drop shipping is your profit margins are smaller because you're having all that being done by a third party. So there are apps, for example, like Printful, where you can connect them to your store, and I'm not logged in, so it won't let me. But basically, you connect them to your store. You can create like your design on there and then load that to your Shopify store. When someone goes and purchases it, that order then goes through and you pay a certain amount, but you're already charged the amount that you are charging. So they bought it first, then you pay for it, and then it goes out to them. So there are certain, drop shipping has gotten better with their shipping dates. It's not as bad as it used to be, you know, back when it first started, but it's still not necessarily, some even do like 2 to 4 day shippings, but it depends where they're going, where it's coming from, like which app you're using as far as for drop shipping. And what did you mean by show you how it works? What aspect of it did you mean by that?
Sure, that was me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, it's me, Marcia. So what I mean by it working, like, do you have, like, can you show a demo, like if you were, a customer was ordering and then you see it in your store and how it works? If they're,
Well,
you know, I guess based on what you do.
So all these products are connected to this store through a drop shipping app. There's probably like, I'm using probably like 2 to 3 on one
Okay, so maybe
store.
like behind the scenes. Okay, so behind the scenes, so I'm a customer, I order, but behind the scenes, you know, how does that drop shipping work? Like, do you have it already set up in your store, or?
Well, this one's not
Okay.
live, and I haven't let me see if this lets me log into the system. The other one wanted me to
Oh, okay.
hold on. I'm just browsing updates. So here we go. This one lets you update like 25 without being on there. So this, let me see. Oh, this is connecting to a different store. That's what's happening. Let me see. I don't know if I finished that store. Let me pull it up. I forgot I did another one for fun. This one. Uh-oh, what's happening? There we go. So this is a different store. I haven't finished it. Obviously, you see how it says image banner here, but I was playing around with some yoga stuff. So this is what it would look like for the clients when they're going in and they're choosing it. But in the back end, I have these products here that are already linked to the store. My price, let me see if it shows variants. Here we go. So this is what they would charge me. The 17 plus the shipping. So the base price is $25.49. So I had those here for $35. So then they pay the $35. I pay the $29.49. And then they do all the shipping and packaging to the client.
Okay. Do you know what the shipping department is actually doing that for you? Do you know who that is, or it's just called drop shipping? Do they list like what, I guess, company is packaging it for you?
So each drop shipping app, right, or company does their own shipping. So they
Okay.
have everyone has their own different options. So you would definitely want to research which company you're going with, and um and find out what their shipping policies are, so you can also kind of align that with the shipping policies that you're showcasing on your store. And I see a question that I got in the chat. How many live income earning stores do you currently have? And where do the products? So I don't sell products anymore. I actually run a business where I build, design, and optimize the Shopify store. So that's where my income comes from. But I used to sell drop shipping when I first started. I started drop shipping like jewelry and accessories back in 2016. And then I moved on to making my own creams. And that is when I really learned how time-consuming packaging, labeling, and shipping is. Especially on a really good like Black Friday season and your orders are coming in, you want to make sure that everybody's getting the right everything and you're not missing things. So that was a learning curve for me, but I've been working solely on building and the developing aspect for Shopify for about a good year now. So I kind of just fully put a stop on my product selling. Now, what I used to do is, for example, I used to, so the question also says, where did I used to get the products from? And when I was doing the drop shipping, I didn't have to worry about that. So that's one of the pros for drop shipping, is you don't have to hold all this inventory in your house. Now, after that, selling jewelry through drop shipping, I actually even invested in some jewelry myself. And I actually still have like stuff for everything. So I would go to places like AliExpress or Alibaba and buy wholesale. For the creams, I used to buy glass containers through Alibaba or AliExpress, and then I would buy my ingredients just like through Amazon or other wholesale websites that I would find that I could buy certain products. When I was making the soap, I would just buy the ingredients, but after a while, I also bought some natural soaps. And so then I would go to like some wholesale websites to purchase in bulk.
Thank you for answering my questions. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Any other questions?
So my question is kind of like a spinoff of what the previous person asked. So I wanted to know, like, what is like the potential income for like, like a new Shopify store or a Shopify store that's like maybe 3 months old or something like that, that's in like a good niche?
Well, it's all going to depend on like your time that you put in on it too, right? So having the store and it functioning correctly is one component, but you're going to want to put in the time to market and get yourself out there as well, to build that community that community that's going to build into your niche, right? So the potentials are endless. I have multiple retainer clients right now. Some of them are constantly selling, they're constantly revamping, creating different collections, and just very active on their stores. Their stores do a lot better than those who just kind of just hope that people come to their store, right? So it really depends on how much time you put into your store, or if you already have a team, that makes it easier than if it's just yourself. but it's really part of it depends, right? It depends on how much you put in. And so yeah, I built stores from scratch, or I can redesign your current store. And some of the apps that I would recommend, there's a Judge Me Reviews. You want to make sure you're showcasing reviews on your products because it helps build trust. Having some sort of marketing app like Klaviyo, OmniSend. I've been even playing around with the in-house feature for Shopify with emails as well. You want to make sure you have there's like a good SEO crusher app to help you kind of crush your images and run reports to recommend things that you can do to help your optimization and your SEO. There's apps that it really depends on the functionality, right, of your store. Like right now, I'm helping build a real estate school store, and we're trying to figure out like, how are we going to automate your process? So that's been kind of quite a challenge, figuring out how to do like reoccurring courses and all that. So I'm trying to get creative with it. But I love a good challenge too with an industry that I haven't done yet, and trying to find ways to like help the client alleviate their manual labor, right? Let's see. Is the SEO in-house? So there's some in-house SEO components that you can do yourself on the website, like on your product pages and your descriptions, and on your homepage as well. And you can use AI tools such as Jasper to help you generate those as well. So you don't have to like break your brain trying to figure that out as well. Yeah. I do have, I think, I don't know if I still have it up. I used to offer audits. I have a course and I build stores. So I may still have my audit offer up on my website. I'll drop my website on the chat and you guys can check it out. Okay, there it is. Any other questions?
Hey, so just real quick, I was just trying to see if you have an existing store, but it's not on Shopify, like you just got a website. Do you do consulting on that as far as getting it migrated over to Shopify to sell on that platform?
Well, I'll help. I can help you, for example, convert a store from whatever platform you're using by just building it up from scratch. But I used to kind of focus on other platforms, but I've been niching down to Shopify only for a while now. So that I just kind of have, that's my jam. So that's my focus.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
In order to use your services, do we have to already have like an idea in mind of what we want to do? Like like a plan, everything needs to be laid out, or I'm just kind of wondering because I'm very interested, but just new and kind of cautious on pulling the plug of just because I'm not as knowledgeable as I'd like to be at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. You definitely want to have something in mind already, so that way we can build from it. A lot of times what takes long, can take a while to finalize a project is not having everything, all your product images or everything that you need all in one. So in order to like probably save your time and your money, I would definitely have you do that. But if you like, I've done sessions with my clients where I'm like, okay, let's meet every, couple weeks or whatever. Let's help you move the needle on what you need to do to make sure that we finish this website. So I've had clients where I've done these sessions where we kind of like, why don't we try this and why don't we try that? Especially I like to do that more so with my retainer clients, because I want to make sure that they're getting value, and they feel like there's some movement as well. But it really also matters on how much you're willing to put in and how much we can dance together too. So what kind of like, do you have no idea, or like you don't know which way to go? We can always have like a consultation and just talk about it to see what kind of feels good to you. That wouldn't be like something that I would charge for. We can just do a 30-minute consultation and just talk about it. But
Yeah, that would be
probably
great because I have
yeah,
ideas, but
yeah.
it's like I'm looking at it. I was looking at it originally from the standpoint of me having to like hand put everything together and all that. So like that's where the direction I was headed. But I'm looking at kind of what you're explaining, and I don't necessarily need to have the inventory myself right in my house.
Now, when you're drop shipping, that's the pro, right? So the cool thing with drop shipping is you don't have to like take up half your loft with boxes and material to ship and labels and inventory, and someone else is handling all that. But the cons are, you're paying more per product. You're not, when you're buying bulk, you're getting everything for less. So, and then the labor part of labeling, packaging and shipping out. I've done both, and I can say there's pros and cons to both. There's definitely more money in doing stuff yourself, but sometimes we don't have the time, or you know what I mean? We have a market we could sell to. We have someone, but then we don't really have that time. That's when drop shipping can be convenient, because it could just be that supplemental stream of income that you set up because you took advantage of the fact that you have a market and a community to sell to. But you guys can also use it for your services. So that's another thing that people don't talk about as much. You could always sell a product, sell a digital product, or which another way to go is sell digital products too. But services, like, it doesn't have to just be a physical product.
I had a question about like with the drop shipping stores, is it better, like, have you seen from your clients, is it better, to run ads, or do they have like more success with like organic traffic?
I'm not against ads because it helps drive people who are actually interested to your store. I love a combination of organic and ad driven traffic, because it's expanding what you can reach by doing so. So I'm not mad at doing ads at all. I know you can just kind of create a social media presence, or even expand your social media presence through the ads, right? And then build that awareness of your brand. Eventually they might link and click on your store through your social media, but you will at least got some people aware of your store with the ads. Now, I'm not an ads expert because that's a whole nother beast.
I know.
That's a whole nother beast, but it's a component that helps your brand awareness and conversion, right? And I see I have another question in. Yeah, ads do work. Yeah. So can we sell our own products? Yeah. So you can you can sell products you make. You can sell products you wholesale. It doesn't have to be a physical product that you made, as long as it's legally able. You're legally able to sell it. So, because funny story, in my drop shipping experience, I started bulk buying those electrical shavers and like eyebrow ones, and the flawless thing that was happening And I didn't realize what I was doing, to tell you the truth, at the time. But I'm over here hustling these razors, electric razors, through Shopify. And like, I ended up getting like this letter like, yo, if you don't do this, you're gonna get sued if you don't stop. So I was like, oh, okay, let me shut this store down, and never mind, sorry, bye. And I used different emails and whatnot. I wasn't like, I knew I was selling something that was like a knockoff, but I didn't realize like to what extent I was really like doing what I was doing back then. So as long as it's something that's legal, I will say, to sell, you could sell it on Shopify. Yeah. And I even have a store who went through the CBD process. So I have a retainer client who sells CBD chocolates, but they went through a whole application process to get approved for the, especially with all those types of products, the regulations are a little more strict, but it's still doable. You just kind of have to go through those channels that are specific for CBD sale.
Any last questions for Vero? Vero, can you tell everyone how they can get in contact with you and what you have to offer?
Sure. Thank you. My website is verocoaches.com, and I'll drop it again in the chat. And you can also reach me on Instagram at verocoaches. And I also love to, so I've collaborated on Saturdays. Oh, I have to tell you guys about this Mindset Saturdays. We're doing free mindset calls. So let me drop the link in the chat for that, because it is an amazing session. I'm collaborating with the Mental Academy, and we just have some amazing sessions on Saturday mornings. So definitely check that out. I'm all about mindset, because when you're working on your mind, you're working on yourself, you're working on your personal life, you're working on your business, you're working on everything. So I'm very into self-investment.
That is so true. Love mindset. You got to be working on mindset every day, reading books, listening to podcasts, even doing like, positive affirmations and auto suggestion, and just keep that positive, mindset.
Definitely. And being in rooms like this, like keeping yourself in rooms like this, you're constantly investing in yourself. And this is what moves the needle, because we can't do it alone.
That is so true. That is so true. Vero, thank you so much for this amazing masterclass. Thank you for teaching us about dropshipping and Shopify. We really appreciate it. You have poured into the community, and we are so, so, so grateful. Thank you so, so much. And definitely, come back whenever you want, because I know that we could definitely use more information, especially those that have Shopify stores. Like some of the members, they have Shopify stores, and some of them want to get started with it. So this replay is going to be on YouTube tomorrow, and it's going to be in the members area. So once again, thank you so much, Vero. Awesome. We really appreciate you, and good night to everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.